What made you realize your parents were very bad at parenting? I was 9 years old when I realized something was wrong with how my dad treated us, but I didn't have the words for it yet. It started small, like most terrible things do. He'd come home from work already, angry, slamming doors, yelling about every little thing that wasn't perfect. The house wasn't clean enough. Dinner wasn't ready on time. My homework was spread across the kitchen table. Me and my little brother were playing too loudly. My mom would rush around trying to fix whatever was making him mad, while me and my brother Jake, who was only 6, would hide in our room. We had this game called Statue, where we'd freeze completely still, hardly breathing when Dad got like that, because moving or making noise would attract his attention. I remember the first time I realized other families weren't like ours. I was at my friend Emma's house for dinner. Her dad came home late from work, looking tired. I tensed up, waiting for the explosion, but he just kissed Emma's mom on the cheek, ruffled Emma's hair, and asked us what we were playing. No yelling, no slamming things, no making everyone walk on eggshells. I was so confused, I kept waiting for him to snap, but he never did when Mom picked me up that night. I asked her in the car why Emma's dad was so different from ours. She gripped the steering wheel so tight, her knuckles went white, and said some people just have bad tempers. Honey, your father works very hard and we need to be understanding. That became her answer for everything. We need to be understanding. He's tired, he's stressed, he's having a rough time at work. The rules in our house changed constantly, depending on Dad's mood one night. Laughing during dinner was fine. The next, it would set him off. We never knew what version of him we'd get, and that unpredictability was the worst part. By the time I was 12, I got good at managing him. I could read his moods the second he walked in. I knew which nights to grab, Jake and disappear, which nights to be extra helpful, which nights just to stay perfectly still and hope he didn't notice us. I became my brother's protector. I'd distract Dad when he started focusing on Jake. I'd take blame for things Jake did. I'd warn Jake when Dad was in a mood. But the thing about living that way is that you think it's normal. You think every kid spends their time calculating risk, managing adults' emotions, protecting their siblings. Then one day, when I was 13, everything changed. I was at school in math class. When the principal came to get me, Jake had been taken to the hospital. I remember the panic that flooded through me as the principal drove me there, her face grim, refusing to tell me what happened at the hospital. I found my mom sitting in the waiting room crying. She wouldn't look at me, wouldn't speak nurses, kept giving us these sad looks. Finally, a doctor came out and told us Jake had fallen down the stairs and hit his head. He was okay, but he had a concussion and would need to stay overnight. I knew immediately Jake hadn't fallen. He was the most careful kid I knew because being careful kept you safe in our house when they finally let me see him. I asked what really happened. His eyes darted to Mom, who was talking to a nurse outside the room. Jake whispered. Dad got mad because I spilled juice on the carpet. He pushed me. I tried to catch myself, but I fell down the stairs. A cold feeling washed over me. I'd been at school, I wasn't there to protect him. This was my fault. But then a woman in a suit walked in, introduced herself as Mrs. Chen from Child Protective Services. She said they needed to ask Jake some questions alone. I was sent back to the waiting room where I found my mom arguing with 2 police officers. I couldn't fit what happens next in this short video, watch the rest down below.